Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Mike with Audio Architects. I'm here with my good buddy Giles with Home Theater Fanatics. What's going on, Giles?
Hey man, doing well tonight. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. We are here for a reason. I'm sure I have given this the title of this video something really really funny, but
I'm sure it's going to be super awesome, whatever it is.
I think it will be as well. First and foremost, okay, for the people that don't know what's going on, here's the skinny. So
yeah, drop the skinny on me too, because I'm lacking some details on this, I think.
Okay, so MoFi Sound Labs, they've been making these ultra disc one-step pressings that cost anywhere from $100 to $125, right?
And that's for a record, right?
For a record, right? Right off the bat, that's unrealistic
Pricey
for me. You know, I wouldn't spend that much on a CD or a record unless it was something very rare, which these are actually limited runs. So for example, they got one coming out in November called it's Michael Jackson's Thriller. It's from the original master tapes. It's limit 3 per household. It runs $100. And it's on pre-order, and they pressed 40,000 numbered copies. Now they do less than
that. What's 40,000 times 100?
A lot of money.
40,000, add another zero, 400,000, add another zero, 4 million. 4 million.
$4 million they're making off this. And I'm sure it's close to being sold out. And they have others for more money, and they have others that have lesser amounts of pressings. So the whole hoopla behind this is that these were from the original analog master tapes, and they were pressed to the record. And that's what everybody thought. It was a complete analog signal, analog chain, right? So little did they know, there was some MoFi engineers on a YouTube video from a channel called InGroove, and they let everybody know that in the process of copying the original master analog tapes, they used DSD as the recording and capture medium. Which for anybody,
which is digital, right? Yeah,
right. But it's the best digital you can do. It's basically a DSD 256 is the equivalent of an SACD. When you rip an SACD, I did a video on this actually. When you rip an SACD, it turns into DSD 256. So, well, at least you have the option to, which is the best possible format that's readily available to people today. I'm sure there's something they got cooking, but that's what's going on. So when people found this out, they didn't know. They thought it was all analog all the time, straight from the tapes directly to the thing, pressed, and then here you go. $100, $125. You own.
Well, so aren't the tapes just the raw recording?
Correct.
So it's got to be like mixed and mastered and all that kind of good stuff, right?
Right, because since they probably had supercomputers back in 1983 when the Thriller came out, right? So that's the thing. I'm so happy about this, Giles, because you know how much I'm a compact disc aficionado, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the best thing that could have happened to anybody that loves compact discs, because now you got thousands of audiophile purists in a frenzy because they're calling this fraud. They're calling this a lot. Actually, John DeVore just did a video on this, and I actually enjoyed it. I know he's a huge record fanatic. He wasn't really fazed by it, though. He's like, yeah, wasn't cool, but I still enjoy it, so I'm still going to buy it,
Well, people love the records, right?
Right.
And they've been buying them for years and years and years, and they've been awesome, right?
Right. And
using this same process, right?
Nobody could tell the difference, though, between, well, at least nobody bitched about the difference between DSD and analog tapes until now, because now they know. So where it got sticky is that MoFi didn't label their records and say on the record or say somewhere that this has, a digital process in between. That's what they're mad about. And that's
does any record anywhere ever say, oh, we have a digital process in between? Like if you go buy an Ariana Grande record, and I love Ariana Grande, Does it say this record mixed and mastered digitally? I don't know. Does it?
Okay. What I think MoFi was banking on was common sense. So, which apparently a lot of people lack nowadays, because when okay, maybe MoFi has one. I don't know. I would like to know this. If anybody that works for MoFi will ever return an email or, or comment it below, you guys can let me know if you have a room or studio that has everything analog, full analog, no digital whatsoever, no digital sources whatsoever. If you have that, then yeah, then I'd be upset because I'd be like, you could do it, but you're not doing it.
Why would you want to try and mix and master using old 1960s analog kind of tools, right? Where it doesn't even seem like it would be a reasonable proposition today to create any type of anything using that tech. I don't know. I'm very practical about these things, and I personally think that, if I'm buying something, I want it to be the best that it possibly can. Okay, so they're going back to the original recordings. That's cool, but man, I bet some of these original recordings are already degraded pretty badly anyway. Especially if you're going back to stuff from the 60s or 50s. I'm not sure what all they're making, but those, that stuff only lasts so long. So when you take those and then you analog to digital convert them, and then you can manipulate things, right, and mix and master, and then they use a DAC process to dump it back out to analog and then cut it onto some vinyl through whatever process that is. That seems like it would be the way that they could create the best possible product for the end user.
But here's the thing. The reason people were okay with paying $100, $125 and with, the whole 9 yards is because they thought they were getting something exclusive and rare, right? So you got the rarity factor. That's going to play into the price. You got they thought everything was from analog to analog, no digital involved. That was another factor. So there's nothing really stopping MoFi from pressing 1 million of these Thriller albums because of the process they're using is a logical process, right? So I would do.
Yeah, I mean, they could press as many of within whatever agreements they have with whoever they made agreements with.
Correct.
Of any of them, right?
Right. Yeah, but if you're using that analog tape straight to analog, then yeah, that's more of a difficult process. Like I was saying, like if they had a room just specialized for that, then I'd be like, okay, well, these guys are in there making something very special that someone wants to own. Shit, I might even buy one, if it's something I really enjoy. And I knew it was like, it's basically like buying the original, right? Like going to the store and saying, hey, I want the Michael Jackson Thriller right off the thing. It's literally the closest thing you can get to the original pressing today. But then this bomb gets dropped that DSD 256 is where it's really coming from. And, people got to come to the realization that, this is the way things are done nowadays. It sounds just as good, if not probably better. And
I bet it does sound better.
Yeah. So,
because I mean, they're going to have to rehabilitate some of these recordings, and that's likely not even possible using analog techniques. I mean,
what's funny is that it's almost the equivalent of me being a CD purist and just enjoying 16-bit 44.1, right? And somebody presses, my favorite album in, DSD 256 SACD. And I'm like, no, I prefer it. I prefer the 16-bit 44.1 because it's how it was made in 1980, 82. That's what I want. I want the lesser. That's literally what they're saying right now to everybody. So MoFi came under fire for this disaster, and people are like, "Oh, are they going to recover from this?" Like, are they going to? They're one of the they're owned by one of the biggest marketing.
This is not going to be impactful to them.
This is a fly on their windshield, really. Like, people in this I'm not going to say in this industry, people in this hobby like to make a big deal out of something very fixable, but now
it's the mob mentality, right? So I've read some of the posts that people are like, yeah, we should sue them all and we hope they go out of business, and it's ridiculous. It's not like they lied to anybody. I went and looked at the website and looked at the description and said, we take it from the original tapes and then put it on a record for you.
Right. They just didn't. Okay. So from what I understand, the language was very vague, which will, if someone decides to take them to court for something like that, which would be totally.
What's the damage? I mean,
I don't know.
What kind of class could you form from this? It's not like it's a defective product. It's not like it doesn't work.
It's their feelings hurt clause. Feelings are hurt. So now when you go to the website, I looked up I unfortunately can't share the page because it keeps knocking me out of Chrome, but on the actual MoFi webpage, if you go check out the Michael Jackson Thriller Ultra Disc one-step pressing, it now says source from 1/2 inch 30 IPS analog master to DSD 256. So they put that there. Now everything is full disclosure, fully transparent. And like I said, I don't think MoFi was trying to be deceiving or disingenuous or fraudulent with this. I think they just thought in their heads, hey, people have common sense, right? That they have to know that there's some kind of digital process in making something in the year 2022. This is over 50 years, 60 years that some of these records were made back in the day. You're telling me that you expect them to use the same process that they did back then these records would be like $500 a piece. You kidding me? You know how long that would take to master each of them and remaster and all.
So maybe that'll be the new product that they release now.
Possibly
the really, really analog version. Yeah. Right. This time it's really analog.
The Ultra Disc half step pressing.
It's double step. It's so analog.
Man. I don't know, dude. I think people are crying just because they want to cry. Like I said, I was reading some comments here on John DeVore's YouTube video he did. I don't know what's going to come from this. Like I said, I'm enjoying this because this is just making the CD look better, and that's what I want. That's the whole thing I'm fighting for. Is this going to affect me in any way? No. Is this going to affect you in any way? No. This isn't going to
everything I listen to it goes through a digital stage for sure, because even if it comes to me analog, I'm going to analog to digitalize it so I can apply all of my EQ and sound processing that I want to make it sound even better. Right. I've got room correction. I need to do all kinds of stuff in here to make it sound good.
You're like, I don't want your analog. I want my digital.
Well, it's just, if you want good sound, there are ways to get there that you can't do in analog world, really, right? There's just new technology, right? There are new techniques to doing things, and everybody knows me. I run the channel Home Theater Fanatics, right? So I don't run 2-channel audio analog only fanatics. So
and I have the utmost respect for people that do enjoy their records and their vinyl, because it's a hobby. Everybody's entitled to enjoy whatever they want, but don't go over here and berate a company because they didn't write the fine print good enough. I mean, it was to the point where they were literally on an interview. Engineers were on an interview, and they just plainly said that, that's the process. So it's not like they were trying to hide anything.
Obviously not trying to hide anything. If their engineers are like, here it is, y'all,
If anything, maybe they expected people to be like, ooh, 256 DSD, awesome.
Yeah. No, you're really you're really making it sound good. Yeah.
They got the total opposite. They're like, what? Digital in our analog, pure analog signal? God forbid. See, here's the thing, man. Like, I've proven with science that records don't sound as good as CDs. And you and I both know that streaming is actually getting to the point where it's besting the CD. You now have
you can get higher quality off a stream than a CD for sure.
Yeah.
Now, is it useful? I don't know.
Most of it's inaudible, but I mean,
agree.
you have to have a really good DAC, upsampling DAC to get to the point where the streaming's at. So streaming and CDs are both still the premium platform for sound quality. Now, people enjoy records for the ceremony and the specific sound signature they provide, which that's fine. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying stop crying. Maybe like MoFi at least came out. The CEO came out and said, "We're sorry. We weren't transparent enough for you guys that couldn't use common sense to know that there is a digital process in the year 2022." Basically, that's what he was trying to say.
Yeah, I saw the Instagram post where they're like, "Yeah, sorry guys." I thought it was very nice that they did that,
right?
But I think that most of the ire that is pointed their way, I think it's probably coming from a place of folks feeling like, "Oh, you got me." Right, because they're like, we love our analog, and we want this only analog, and this is better because it's analog, and I have these 20 albums that are the super best sounding things to me ever because they're all analog, and then they find out, oh, they were manipulated digitally in the creation process. So now what I thought was my world, I have to rethink everything because I thought all this stuff was awesome. And I would expect people to say, start saying things like, "Oh, I always thought they sounded kind of bad."
I'm waiting for that.
They totally sounded digital to me, and for the 10 years that I've had them and been listening to them and loving them, but now I think that's
shrill.
I think that's probably where the real source of the angst, right? Mm-hmm. It's not that MoFi did anything horrible. It's just that people have a hard time accepting things that they don't want to accept that doesn't kind of fit into their worldview, right? And people
don't understand it's not really practical to do it the old-fashioned way, because from what I understand, they only have a certain amount of time. I read somewhere that it's maybe even a few hours of access to the master tapes, and in those few hours, they have to make a copy of it in the best way possible. So it means, think about it. So if you only have a couple hours to master something as iconic as Michael Jackson's Thriller, I'm just going to throw it in DSD at 256, which is the best thing you can possibly do. And then from there, take that and say, okay, now I have time to really, make it sound good, and then press it on a record.
Yeah.
Now,
it's like people getting the old Star Wars film, right? Mm-hmm. And then they're scanning every frame at, some super high resolution bitrate, color depth, so that you have a very high quality record of this thing that eventually is going to decay and be gone, right? And all these tapes eventually are going to decay and be gone. The best kind of storage for anything is going to be in the digital world, where you just can create copy after copy and you don't have any degradation, right? Now, I think that if you do a physical media, I think of vinyl, a record will last the longest just sitting on the shelf. But I think the best way, though, is to have a digital copy of it, because you can just generate as many of those. And, if your hardware gets to end of life, you just make another copy of it, and there you go.
Well, right? And I imagine that's why they only have a few hours to play with it, because they don't want it to be out in the elements too long. They probably keep
sure. It's like all.
It's a museum piece.
Yeah. If you go to the Library of Congress and you want to look at the whatever, I don't know, that stuff's all stored, and it's they're trying to keep it and save it for as long as possible. But all of these things will eventually decay and be gone.
What I don't understand, okay, so you're a home theater guy. You'll understand this analogy. Would I want okay, so I don't know if this makes sense, but would I want, let's say Terminator on VHS? Terminator on VHS is original VHS, original master VHS, right? I wouldn't want that being recorded onto a 4K DVD straight from the original master without some kind of, upsampling, and I want them to tweak it out a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So,
what they'll do is like what I alluded to before. They would never go back to a VHS copy of anything because that is that is the worst way to go. So all these
right,
old films, they were on film, right?
right.
And what you do is you take the film and you scan it, right, frame by
Mhm.
frame into a high resolution format, right? So you scan it at 16K or 32K or something ridiculous, right?
Right.
And then you can you have the source material, and then you can master it to whatever specification that you want it to be. So I want to do 4K on Blu-ray disc. Okay, no problem. I want to do 4K in a file. Same thing. If I want to do 8K into a file for, download and playback, you can do that too, right? So you've got all that source information in the digital medium, and then you can just manipulate it, right? And it's the same thing for the sound, right? You take it in and you have a copy in the highest quality possible, and then you got it forever and never degrades.
Right. Um, I'm not holding MoFi. I'm not mad at MoFi. I know you're not mad at MoFi. I don't think they did it.
I think it makes me want to buy one of these records actually.
Yeah. Like,
I'm like, oh, I should get one of these just to have one now.
well, here's the thing. The pre-order for the SACD of that Michael Jackson Thriller is now available for $29.99. And to me,
that's not bad.
$29.99 for an SACD of the original tapes from Michael Jackson Thriller, that's cool. I would buy that. I wouldn't spend $100 on the vinyl. Why? Why would I want a lesser, inferior version of something I can get in SACD DSD 256? I don't know.
It just comes. Well, that's something that we'll never know. So I've talked about this with folks before, but kind of my hi-fi experience growing up was, I think, different than a lot of people, because I kind of went from like a radio and then 8-track to cassette tape to CD to file and streaming. So I never had a stage where I owned record players and records, and my parents didn't own record players and records either, right? So that was just never part of my lexicon. It's not part of my language of music. And cassette tapes are horrible. Dolby C, whatever, it doesn't matter. Still all pretty much horrible. Although my wife loves it. No, my wife is a huge cassette tape fan.
Yeah, I saw her collection when I went over.
Yeah.
No, I think cassettes are cool for the collection value, right?
Well, so that's the same thing for the LPs, right? It's people who were into that thing. They're into it. So, that's, you got folks that love records just because they love records. And, I love books. And, I don't have all the bookshelves in here. I moved them down to the basement, but I love books and I have books, and, it would be better if I put them all on my Kindle and then I could just read them whenever I want to. Right. But I still enjoy having the books laying around. So I get that. I get that. That's, and they're like, I've also invested $200,000 into this record player and system, and so I'm going to use it. Awesome. That's cool. But man, I don't, it's hard for me to get mad at MoFi for creating a really high quality product.
I'm just browsing at their the vinyl. You got an Elvis Presley from Elvis in Memphis for $125, only limited to 10,000 numbered copies. Now, here's the thing. I think the problem here is the reason vinyl is so expensive. Number one, obviously, there's 10,000 copies. Let's say this thing sells out, 10,000 done, sold out, and it's limit 3 per household or whatever. Most of them are, at least. Let's say I buy 3 and I have 2 extras, and the 10,000 are sold. Let's say 100,000 people want this damn thing. around the world. That's where people are starting to price gouge, right? So
Oh, totally. Yeah, they'll buy them up
create,
just like tickets for a concert.
right. You create a a need and a want and a rarity, you know, and you can now charge $3, $4, $5, maybe $1,000 for this damn thing. So I think that's why a lot of people are pissed, is because possibly they bought this on eBay or Macari or something like that for $600, $700, $800, thinking this was an original master from the original tapes, no digital involved. This is like as pure can get, the purest of the pure, this is like Heisenberg quality vinyl right here. And,
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, no, I totally, I understand what you're saying, but I just don't understand the thought process around that.
I'm like I said, I'm crazy about CDs, but I wouldn't pay, $29.99 is probably my ceiling right there for just an SACD. Have I paid more in the past for a CD? Yes. I'm not going to lie to everybody, because I paid $60 for a Pussifer CD. Pussifer.
What is that?
It's one of what's his name? Tool's the guy from Tool. One of his side projects that he did a long time ago.
Oh, right on. Cool.
Really good. It's the first song on. Obviously, you haven't been to my playlist on Cool Buzz, but it's it's the first song on there. But yeah, man, I don't know. Thanks for joining me, buddy. I don't want to beat this horse more than it's already been beaten to death this past week. I think it's been 7 or 8 days of pure absolute mayhem online. Everybody's like, MoFi this, MoFi that. I made a stupid comment on my community page here on YouTube, and some people some people found it funny, others didn't. Like I said, I'm a champion for the CD. I think it's coming. I know it's coming back. It's making a resurgence. Ever since I dropped that original thing, almost 2 years ago, I dropped that original article on it. And now I see people talking about it all the time. Not saying it was me personally, but I'm saying, yeah, it was probably me personally. So, yeah, man, I'm kind of, hopefully this will motivate people to be like, oh, well, since it's DSD 256 and I really, really like the way it sounds, maybe let me try that SACD. Maybe. So,
or if they want the good stuff, they'll just go straight to streaming.
Yeah, or they can just go to a garage sale and get the original.
But there's that as well. Yeah, just pony up the money and the $10,000 for that original pressing of Thriller.
Yeah,
whatever it costs.
I don't have a first pressing of Thriller, but I have a pressing of Thriller.
I own one record.
Yeah, I know you have the Beastie Boys.
That's right, License to Ill Baby,
which was probably pressed, but from digital. Because it's a newer version of it.
Oh yeah, hopefully it was. That would be my preference. I'm actually going to pull that out and see if it says produced digitally.
1,000 vinyl files just died right now with what you just said. That's a good word. Vinyl files.
Vinyl files. I think that's cool. For me, I just want my stuff to sound good.
I'm a CD file.
I want it to sound as good as possible. And that's me.
Yeah.
I love it.
You know what? Maybe we'll make this into a hi-fi hour. That'll be cool. It's already been 30 minutes. The hell with it.
A hi-fi half hour. It's a one-step pressing hi-fi hour.
So okay, so guys,
but listen. It starts with analog.
Yeah, the audio.
Then it's processed digitally, and then it comes out the speakers analog.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. It's the MoFi process.
So essentially, you were listening to this stream in the ultra high-end one-step Mike and Giles process. All right.
That's right. So the M&J.
M&J one-step. We're recording with the same microphones, same exact. Sure.
We even have the same foam on it.
We have the same phone on there.
The close talker foam.
The only thing different is our is our little holster. I wish I had his blue holster. I kind of like yours better, or the arm. But
It's kind of janky. I don't know. I think you might be happier with yours. But so our cables might be different.
mine is
brands.
Mogami.
I think mine is $8 from Amazon.
Mogami, world's best cables. Only, but even then, it's only like $20, $30. You know.
And then, are you using a cloud lifter?
Of course, you have to.
Cloud lifting as well.
These things are hungry. But yeah. So Giles, what do you got coming up this week? Let's just kind of let people know where you're at, because you'll be able to find all of Giles' stuff in the description below. If Giles chooses to post this, I'm sure you can find my stuff in the description below.
Absolutely, because Mike will come and harass me until I put it in there.
Dude, this guy over here,
I'm
will
so
post
bad.
something with my face and who was that? It was Logan Paul that was saying that. He's like, because he was pissed because he didn't make any money off Floyd Mayweather or whatever for that fight or whatever. I guess Floyd Mayweather didn't pay him, and he's like,
really? He
used my name and likeness in his thing. He's all crying about it, dude. These guys that make way too much money to be, that's a whole nother like hi-fi hour. But I just think these guys are ridiculous. These people that come from, whatever it was, what was that original? It was before Vine. They came from Vine, then went to like YouTube and TikTok, and then became these sensations. And I don't blame them. I blame the people that put them on the pedestal that gets them to where they're at. Makes them famous for no
good reason.
No good reason, dude. These guys don't have talent. You think his little brother's a boxer? Come on. The guy fights nothing but who'd he fight? An NBA star? He fought he hasn't fought a real professional fighter. He'd get mangled,
it'd be like me going against Tyson. Let's go.
Yeah.
Be like, come on, old man, I can take you.
Yeah,
no,
man.
I can't.
I started on this. Yeah, I mean, all in all, Giles, I think this whole MoFi thing will die out. I'm still like kind of browsing through the.
I know, but
comments.
We're not helping it die out, though.
we really aren't. This really just is a view grab for everybody.
I know we're being opportunistic here.
Yeah,
MoFi, we're gonna revel in your misery.
I'm capitalizing on your misery right now. Vinyl files. I'm sorry, but I'm enjoying every minute of this because this brings the CD resurgence much closer.
Oh
much
my God,
faster.
Mr. CD. So I guess are there three camps now? Is it vinyl, physical media, digital physical media, and then streamers? Is that the three camps?
Like I said, I think having a good balance with all of them is good. I own vinyl. I own probably 50 records. I have
I own vinyl too.
I have one record. I have a turntable, the basic U-turn orbit turntable. Do I ever use it? No, maybe once every 6 months. Do I use my CD player a lot more often? Yes. Do I use my room core the most? Yes. Convenience, guys.
As you should. And room convenience. Awesome.
Do I love my CDs? Absolutely. But do I like the convenience of being able to stream something in the ridiculous quality, and have a very similar sound? Hell yeah.
As long as you're using a good DAC, E30 DAC?
Huh?
Do we love our topping E30 DACs?
Hell, dude. Where was it?
Such a good piece of equipment. Oh my God.
That thing? It was on my desk. Oh, here it is, right here in front of me. My freaking phone is on top of it. There it is. Topping E30. Dude, this thing, I have some RCAs plugged in. These are little cool RCAs, like super short run.
Yeah. You got to have them.
Yeah, and this little device is, you can't find this one anymore because this one,
it's got the good chip.
This is the good chip. Yeah, it's got a good serial number on it. It's the E30 with the good chip. It's already all banged up because I opened it up because I wanted to see if I could change out the op amps, but
you can't.
But I can't. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to solder or something.
You'd have to unsolder the chips from the board, right? Yeah,
But
that's
all right,
unfortunate.
let's wrap this up, and then hopefully we'll get some productive comments. If you guys want to have a good conversation about it, don't come at us all sideways.
Yeah, don't hate on us.
Yeah,
We're not here to be hated on.
I've been dealing with enough trolls for one day. Honestly, any trolling gets deleted, so your trolling really, and I get notified immediately when people comment. So your trolling is not welcome here. It's not appreciated. So piss off with your trolling. And but if you want to have a constructive conversation, I'm sure Giles and I would be more than happy to engage with you guys and talk to you guys and hear your side of things, because we may be seeing it wrong, but I think I'm seeing it pretty practical what's going on.
What I would like is for anyone who feels that their MoFi pressing records ones sound too digital to send it to me so I can listen to it. Just send them over. Oh yeah, I'm going to keep it for sure. There's no there are no go backs.
You know what? We should start a website, the Giles donation of one step pressing.
Would it be funny if people sent me a whole bunch of vinyl and they're all like, "Oh, just one record. Now here you go," and I'm like, "What would I do with it?"
It's like crowdsourcing vinyl over here.
Oh God, there are a few records that I wouldn't mind having. Like I want Snoop Dogg, his first. I'd love to have that on vinyl. I think that'd be super cool. I'd like to have Warren G Regulate. I think that'd be good on vinyl. Like some classic Ice Cube.
Sounds like you just hit up some 90s DJs that probably have that in their crates.
Probably. Yeah. That stuff would be cool. Like some techno.
Yeah. Dude, my favorite pressing that I own is I don't know if you've ever watched the movie Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp.
A long time ago.
Yeah, amazing.
Is this the one about the
he's a book
like
dealer.
Religious horror or something like that?
Yeah, he's a book dealer and he gets his hands on the Ninth Gate book and he has to. It's an amazing. If you guys haven't watched it, it's probably one of Johnny Depp's best movies he's ever done, and probably the most underrated. But it's a Polanski film, so maybe that's why people are like, ugh,
Oh well, yeah. It's still tougher nowadays.
Yeah, too soon. But no, the actual soundtrack and score was phenomenal, and I found it on both CD and vinyl. I'm like, I want to own it in both, So I bought the CD and I bought the vinyl, and the vinyl just looks really. It's really a collector's piece. I haven't even listened to it. It's really just a collector's piece for me to say I own it.
Well, but, it was interesting. Like for me, for collector's pieces, I own Dune on Laserdisc.
So do I.
But I don't have a Laserdisc player.
Neither do I.
So
I heard they play really good CD.
I think they probably play the heck out of a CD. I need to find one. I keep looking, hoping that one will pop up at like a yard sale or a Goodwill or something.
Here's the thing, though. The second we watch it, we're gonna be like, "What the hell are we doing?"
I know that we're gonna be like, "This is horrible.
Why are we watching this?
We could just stream it. It would be way better." And then I'll be like, "I've got it on Kaleidoscape, and that's the best possible."
Dude, I have the original Dune on 4K, and that was hard to find. Cool. That was super hard to find.
I've got the original Dune on Kaleidoscape,
which is also 4K. Yeah,
it's not hard to find though.
Curious.
That's really easy. Speak and take my money.
Curious when 8K is going to be a thing. Hopefully someday.
There's no content right now. So their televisions, Samsung's new 8K TV is absolutely phenomenal. Samsung, if you're out there watching, I love your TV. I want one.
I'll make sure I put a link in the description below.
Yeah. But you could play back 8K on a Samsung television now, but there's just no content. And there won't be content at 8K for 10 more years.
Yeah. Now, a lot of cameras can do 8K now. My camera, my Panasonic Lumix can do 6K.
That's really cool.
I don't film in it because I have trouble enough filming in 4K, and I have a top of the line computer, and it still kind of coughs at me when I try to edit videos. So you
got to use proxies, man.
See, you got to use
proxies, then you can edit anything you want to.
You need to come over here and. Well, it's not like horrible. It's just like sometimes it hiccups a little bit.
Oh, my computer sucks when I try and do 4K native editing.
Like you have to have like a $10,000 computer to be like, hey, I'm going to throw this full quality 4K, flawless victory right there.
Yeah, totally.
All right.
Agreed.
All right, my friend, I'm going to end this right now. But guys, if you haven't yet, check out Giles over at Home Theater Fanatics.
Check me out,
info will
y'all.
be in the description below. If you haven't subscribed to me, if you're just watching this because you clicked on the clickbait, then Audio Architects, follow, subscribe, like, share, become part of us.
We would enjoy your patronage.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon.